everyone. 25 de Abril sempre. Sorry, Miguel. You can cut if you like. Okay, private joke apart. Today it's our anniversary.
Not our,
Yes,
but
the Red Room
yeah, the
anniversary.
Red Room. And to specify even more, it's the Red Room as a publisher, not as a channel. The channel started, I don't know, January, I think, and not the same year, so it's slightly older. So today is the Red Room's fourth birthday, and we are going to take you on a walk down memory lane, if you will.
Because now we started walking. Well, I don't know what at what age would the Red Room as a retarded child is starting to walk. No.
So let's do a recap of these years. We started with the purpose of releasing the first book, not exactly on this day, but 3 days earlier, which was my birthday.
22.
Yeah, that was the plan, to start releasing the first book, which was Wretched Bastards, by the way. At that time, first edition, it was still a game, a full game, not a game setting. But because we were publishing through Drive-Thru at the time, there was a delay. They were still reviewing it or whatever, and so that's why it started on the 25th and not on the 22nd, which would have been my preferred day for obvious reasons. And the other one is because
Not only because it's your birthday. That's
no, but because the 25th of April has a different kind of meaning in Portugal. It's the day of the revolution, and so there's communist connotations. And being this the Red Room, it's a bit more.
well, it's ironic.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And it gives us something else to celebrate.
It's still easy to remember, at least. About that, but while Alzheimer doesn't strike me. But yeah, the 25th is also easy to remember for those comic connections. So let's talk a little bit about what we have done during this time.
We're gonna get depressed.
Probably. Okay, so let's go even a little bit back even more. So we started before, of course, 1 year before, in the times of COVID. Yes, in those we were talking about that minutes ago. Not because of the Red Room, but still, the times of COVID. And that's when I published the first thing. It was Orpheum Lofts through Postmortem Studios, and then the Memorial, I think, or I don't know.
I think it was the memorial. Then
Memorial, and then the Sisters of Seven Sins.
yes. Then Welcome to St. Cloud, and then
Then
Avalidad.
Postcards from Avalidad, and then a couple of more things that no one purchased because they were like source books, or not full games. And eventually, when I don't know how long it was. Well, I do know. The first thing I published was in February, I think. So it was a bit more than a year. So it took us a little more than a year until we decided that it was time for us to start our own publishing.
Among other things, because you were too productive to green gym space.
Yeah,
It's not nice.
definitely. I already, by that time, I already had a few things lined up and some plans to expand on Postcards from Avalidad, for example. And they would never have been published if we kept on publishing through at least through Postmortem. I could have published through another label, but from that one it would have been a problem. And so that's what started the Red Room as a publisher again, because the channel, we started it I think a bit after I started publishing the first, but not that later. was probably a matter of months, I think. I can't really quite remember that, but I think it was just a few months after. A few months after Orpheum Lofts. Wasn't it?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay.
It doesn't really matter.
No, just. Well, I could check it, of course. I could check it on the YouTube channel.
I need to check it for next year's video.
Yeah. Next
that.
year, I will be more professional and I will inform you about those details that no one cares about. And so, Wretched Bastards, that's your fault, so you should talk about that. And it's not
Well, we decided, or you decided it, to have our own publisher. It needed to be fantasy, and you bullied me into writing a scenario.
Yeah, that was it. What was it called? Was it was there a name for the scenario?
No, it was Wretched Bastards right away.
Was there because it started as an idea for a scenario? Maybe there was no.
I'm not sure anymore. Now my memory, maybe, because they're supposed to be two. No, they end up being two things. The Seven Bastards. No, exactly, the Seven Bastards.
Yeah, that was it.
Now I was thinking, but they're both. So now I was confused. It was supposed to be the same, everything the same thing, but we were waiting for some art. Then so the both things got splitted into Wretched Bastards and the Seven Bastards. So it's the name of the adventure.
Yeah, and even later, the Seven Bastards were still there.
So basically, I did the Seven Bastards. The setting itself was more your work than mine, because I'm lazy.
Well,
I think that's my sin.
Of course, the rules were mine. That's not exactly mine. I did the adaptation. They were, and they still are, OSR, and they are a little bit different, but not that much. Mostly, what changed from Wretched to Red was the definitive thing was I got rid of the character levels, but most of the rest is kind of very similar. Few adjustments and all, but not that much.
But my goal when I was writing Seven Bastards was to write a fantasy game, a fantasy setting, adventure that was stupid. Because fantasy is not supposed to be serious. And then it kind of became a game, and it was like, oops, maybe maybe I should have written some things in a different way.
Yeah, there were some things that...
There are some references there that you hated.
Yeah, some references that I regretted later. Not because of Wretched Bastards itself, but because we used some of those references in the Wretched verse. And I'm talking about the factions, of course. And you were talking about the factions.
The factions were stupid, but they were meant to be stupid.
But some
and
of
the
them...
additions were stupid, but they were meant to be stupid. So there's a lot of things in Wretched Bastards that are stupid on purpose.
The only thing that we've kept, and though it's kind of stupid, but I don't think anybody understood how stupid it is the Knights of Sidonia.
Yes.
We've kept in Final Frontier. I don't know. I probably should have renamed them, but I've kept them anyway. I think so. It's a reference to a song, right?
Yes.
Not just that.
No, but
about the other reference because it's irrelevant.
The reference to a song and something else. That's why I thought it was a good idea. Yeah, it's just a stupid Portuguese joke. So no point in explaining.
Not really a joke. It's a person, but
no, it's with a joke that the stupid joke that I did.
Yeah, a stupid joke about a famous Portuguese singer, which is completely unknown. So no point in trying to explain it.
But it works for Bastards. I mean, all those stupid references would be great for Bastards. The problem was when Wretched expanded, like, maybe it shouldn't be here.
Yeah, some of those things started to sound very silly. But this is
like the Daughters of Xenia and all that, yeah.
I don't think the Daughters of Xenia were really that stupid. Because it made sense. There was really that saint. So, and the background...
Yeah, but then there were lesbians and...
it worked for Wretched.
Smash the patriarchy.
They were worse than those. There was also Orocaos. And Orocaos was not bad. That one was. I guess the most stupid references only we understand
Yes, I think that's why. Yeah, it's only it's private joke, so that's
No one
fine.
thought the level of silliness in there, or probably no one. And then okay, so let's go back to the beginning and to what happened next. So we started Wretched Bastards, and after the huge success, no, there was no huge success. Well, it wasn't bad. It could have been worse.
Oh, those days! Don't you remember the good old days when you sold in drive-through? If
Yeah,
only you had no principles.
yeah, no. And not just the principles. Like I would have, if we would have never talked about publicly about them, it would possibly
But that's
maybe
relate, but that's connected to having principles. I mean, complaining.
true. Yes, yes.
I think we're a victim of racism because they don't understand that it's cultural for Portuguese to complain. And obviously, we are Portuguese, so we are not white. I mean, we shouldn't be. We should qualify for POX or an American company. So I
If we
think we were victims of racism.
if we lived in the US, we would be box, but we live in Europe,
They
so
would see your name, Miguel Ribeiro Silva Clemente. Oh, they're Latins. So maybe.
because you live in Portugal or in Europe, you are not allowed to take the race card. I think I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It's complicated. I think. So because of the moderate success, not the huge success, but the moderate success Wretched Bastards had, so we decided, okay, let's do more stuff, not just this one. And by the way, there was something else that related to this, and which started with Wretched Bastards, which was what the pundit later called Spaghetti Punk.
Mhm.
We had a plan for this. I I never played that game, which I'm going to mention now, but I've looked at it and I like the concept. I don't know how it turned out in the book itself, but so there's actually not a game. It's a setting for fifth edition called Bracalonia. It's an Italian setting. I think it's published in English as well. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
is.
it is.
And so the concept behind it is to turn fantasy into a crossover with spaghetti western movies, especially the Italian one. They're all Italians, of course, but those comedy spaghetti westerns with Bud Spencer and Terence Hill. And I found the concept amusing, but of course we expanded on it because it wasn't just doing fantasy with a spaghetti western feeling. It was also using the spaghetti western concept to do other games. Naturally, the closest one to spaghetti western was Wretched Country, of course, because it was both both wretched and country, so spaghetti western all the way. But to use the concept for space and for every other game, especially the part that player characters were meant to be anti-heroes, not heroes, and so this was a concept we brought in from the spaghetti western. I think some people misunderstood, probably because they didn't know about this idea behind it, that characters were supposed to be just bad people
Nice.
behaving badly and doing the nasty stuff.
Wretched. Yeah.
Wretched, yeah. But even wretched means several things. I think you can be wretched just by being miserable, not necessarily evil. And the idea was never to be evil. The idea was to be just. Well, you could be the. You were supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be the.
The hero. You'll be morally grey or
You
down in
could
your
be the
luck.
ugly. You could be the good, but never the bad. And I'm referencing the movie, of course. Even though Clint Eastwood's character is not the good, might not be the best way to describe it because he's an anti-hero, but he's the good one in that. At least he's the good one, and that's the concept. You were supposed to play characters that were not heroic, but also not evil, not the bad guys. And there's a lot of room in there to play different kinds of characters, including nice people, not heroic. And so that's what started the Wretchedverse. And now let's talk a little bit about that that thing that happened 1 year later, less than a year later. It was almost a year later because I remember we
Yes,
got
it was almost before our,
yeah,
yes,
it was
our
in March.
anniversary.
We were banned in March. So I've talked too much. So I'll
Okay,
leave it.
I'm getting older, yes. So we decided to publish something very funny that you have been it has been shared with you months ago, right? In Asto, do you want to publish this? And you read it and you laughed, but you said, "Oh, I have no art, so I cannot publish this because I have nothing to. I cannot illustrate it." Then AI, you started using AI. You know, oh, now I can publish it because I can make. So it was two things, and of course people that are going to see this video know it was men. The
Man,
most toxic
manly
ever.
RPG for manly man. And by the way, I've got in touch with Dick Pound, who is a real person. Well, no, he's not called Dick Pound,
Yes, the
but
real
he
person.
exists. He's a real person. I don't know. Maybe there are still people that think that we actually wrote man and never wanted to disclose the information. But no, Dick Pound is, even though he's not called Dick Pound, unfortunately, it's a shame he's not really called Dick Pound. But it does exist, and what Sylvia just said about it really happened. Um, and so it was in I don't know, probably in February of the next year. I think it was that I published it. No, March. No, it was in March.
It was
It was
very
in March.
quick.
It
It
was
was very quick. It was like this.
yeah, it was very quick. After a week, it was we. So we published it. A week later, we were banned, or maybe 2 weeks. It could be
I
2 weeks.
mean, I'm getting annoyed. It is just stupid because I remember then I read it right when you decided you were going to publish it. I read it and I laughed so hard at it, especially all those jokes about women being equipment. And I remember when some of the videos, that stupid video about stupid Tenkar and his wife, and that old hag saying, "Oh, this is so offensive for a woman."
Was there? Was his
Yes,
wife there as well?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
he did
remember
a
the
video.
wife.
Yes, so she could be, yeah, he cannot marry little boys. Uh,
I
I
remember.
remember,
I remember
I
him
remember
saying
very
that.
well. It was the whole hag there being very offended in all women's name because, oh my God, women are furniture. And I was like, what? That is
Oh,
hilarious.
it can be furniture as well. Yes, but yeah,
Yes.
equipment and well, furniture is we can call furniture gear, I guess.
Yeah, but there was also as furniture. Yes, there was a thing about
Yeah,
women.
there were blocks you could.
Yes,
You
exactly. You could do furniture with women, exactly. You could do, and I mean, that was, and there was a lot, all the jokes about women were hilarious. I laughed so hard at them. And I'm like, why is this person getting offended?
or
I
maybe.
know why she's getting offended, and I'm not going to say it because that's probably too rude, and I've been rude enough.
I was not. I was
But
remembering
this
that.
annoys me. The people getting offended. I mean, that book is hilarious, and that's why I feel bad you didn't write it, because if you had write it, you could have had
Oh,
brilliant career writing comedy, and you may not need to
yeah,
be writing role playing games.
yeah, that's true. If I was that good, it would be, I would probably be writing other stuff completely different. Not games probably. Well, also games, but I could be writing books. Yeah, I think so. Um, so well, it's a shame.
Yeah, so we were banished because we complained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that it was supposedly not because of the book's content. That was just offensive, and we were reviewed by because someone reported the book as
And
offensive.
people have been reporting our books.
Oh yeah, that started earlier. So
So
sexual
when
Holocaust, for
so the
example.
sexual holocaust, yes, was removed. Sexual holocaust that is it also has a very interesting story because you wrote that adventure for us to play. So it's a very romantic adventure. You wrote
Yes.
it for me, yes, because I asked for it.
Yeah. Even before we started, of course,
Yes,
it was
it was
inspired
something
on
that
something that we had played in Nocturne, actually. Uh, Misha Thomas's game.
But that's when that was the one that I asked you that I wanted to play. So you wrote that. Yeah.
So it was written as a scenario for another game, but then I used the notes I had and I expanded a little bit on that, of course, and it became Sexual Holocaust. But it was mostly the same thing, of course. I just added details, of course. When we are running the game, you don't need to write down everything, just a few notes. And that one was probably the first one that was reported as offensive. And I took it down because it was impossible. Of course, you could just do what I tell you and rewrite it and censor it, but nah, I wouldn't do that. That's why I say, and I'm led to believe that even if we hadn't complained publicly about drive-through decisions, we would probably eventually get banned from there because I wouldn't accept censorship from them. And they are a store; they are not a publisher, so they should stay out of that part of the business.
And wasn't there also a complaint about Labia, another adventure that I wrote just because of the cover? Yes, there was. But then they sent you an email saying, "Oh, we reviewed this title and there's nothing wrong with it."
Yeah.
Yes, of course not. It's a dungeon.
The only thing about that was the cover, but the cover wasn't publicly seen, except if you had your whatever mature thingy clicked on drive-through. So that's the purpose of those things, to divide the books. And if you don't want to see not safe for work, okay, you don't see them. If you accept to see them, you see them. And in that case, basically the cover was the only thing. But they also reported other stuff for different things, like Space was initially reported for copyright infringement. I think they meant the art. I guess it was AI, so they probably decided that it was copyright infringement. They were already being anti-AI before that was popular. And so eventually Man got us banned from there. And immediately, because we already had a site, it was the blog, basically. It was a blog. But it was expanded on, and it turned into a store, which doesn't exist anymore, of course. Those are later changes, but for a time there was a store. And I think, in retrospective, those days weren't that bad.
No, those are the good old days after, yes.
Yeah. Those were the days after we got banned from drive-thru. We probably sold more than ever, and we'll never sell that much. Of course, that was the impact of being banned. The immediate impact. Man sold a lot. I don't know how much because we don't really keep records of those things, but I can remember that. Even though we only took a part of the proceedings, Dick Pound, being the author, of course, he had a much larger cut, and even we had a 30% cut or 20%. I can't remember exactly. We still made some money with men's sales.
Just because you're very bad at negotiating, you should have gone 50-50 because the game got you expelled from drive-thru.
When I negotiated that, I didn't negotiate. I just accepted the numbers he sold. But I wasn't expecting being banned, of course. I was expecting the game to be banned, not us. Of course, I can't deny that I was expecting the game itself to be banned. I was expecting, okay, so they'll ban the game here, and then we'll sell it on Lulu or somewhere else. I don't know. Was there Giant Slayer games at the time? I don't know. Probably.
I don't think so.
No, probably not. No, it was later. Well, Lulu. But okay, so we failed at that prediction there. And what else? What else should we talk about? As we are reminiscing. Nothing.
I don't think there's not more polemics that you want to talk about.
No, definitely not.
Those are interesting. Yes.
The polemics ended there, and And I suppose the polemics having died probably was a problem because after that it was downhill.
Still have a lot of people that hate you, but that's different. I think
Yes,
everybody hates it.
yes, there were some other people that started hating us later or hating me later, like the basic expert and his cronies. That happened later. Uh, the anti-AI crowd in which those
And
are
then there's
included.
some people so some people hate us because we are fascist. Other people hate us because we are too edgy. Because some people also said, "Oh, this game is too edgy,"
Yeah,
or that.
I think that's ended in the meantime. The edgy label, no one has because we're not edgy anymore. We were never edgy actually, but people thought that we were trying to be edgy. No, we weren't. We were just writing the games we like to play and the adventures that we would like to play. And when we published those adventures, those particular things, uh, we never went back there because there were other things that we wanted to play. For example, totally unedgy, I think. Final Frontier, probably. It's not edgy. Um,
And
well,
end of innocence.
The End of Innocence, yes, those are not edgy at all. Belle Epoque is not edgy, and those are well, not The End of Innocence. I wouldn't put it in the same bag because that's not the game I would like. I would really like to play. That's just something that it was your idea, not mine.
Yes.
But the other ones, yeah, it was something that we wanted to play, and that's why we published them. But yeah, the edgy label we have has been removed.
Probably also because I haven't written anything. I think in some ways I'm probably more edgy than you are.
Yeah,
Because I
it's well the games itself to be
yeah.
for a game
The
to be edgy,
adventures,
it
the
would
ones
be
that are
easier to make an edgy
the
adventure.
adventure is that can be edgy, yeah, not the games. The games are just games. But I mean, enough reminiscence about Ratchet because ends our good bad days. Because if not, we're not going to get finished with the video ever. Let's talk about how we decided to move from Ratchet to Red because some people may start with, "Oh, but why another game and what new games?"
Well, I guess the concept was starting to be exhausted, starting to feel exhausted. Not everything can be applied to the spaghetti punk universe that we had in Ratchet. Not everything. So I had some ideas for other games like Darker. That was obviously it was the first one, and it was the one that it could not be.
The main reason, yes. Well, I would say that the Ratchet and the Ratchet verse was starting to feel a bit like the Marvel universe, right? It's like, oh no, too many.
Yeah, well, I think for me it was mostly the plan to release Darker, and then other plans came, and I don't know if I had them at the time. Really, I can't remember. But Twilight of Empires,
I think we had talked about it.
example those. Yeah, probably we talked about that earlier. Other things that could
Yes,
never happen, even though it was your idea, not mine. But the End of Innocence wouldn't make sense.
and the Jesus and Uncharted Seas.
Yeah,
That was my idea, but it will be for something in space.
yes.
An
So
adventure in space.
either in space
Will
or
work as Ratchet, yes.
it wouldn't have worked in Ratchet. The others might, but like Soldiers of Fortune, could it be Ratchet? Yeah, could it could be, but should it be? Probably not.
And I mean, you also did the new versions of New Flash, for example, in the epoch
And
for
definitely those work better in Red than in
yes.
No, Epoch, if I was going to do it now, I would have not. I wouldn't have cut as much from the original as I did. I think Epoch could have been released with a little bit more content. I cut it because that was a plan with the, and it still is, with the new editions of all the Ratchet settings. to make them into full games, but include just summarized rules and also summarized content. I summarize too much in the case of Epoch. I won't do that in country, for country. And what else? It's a shame that we lost some of the audience because I think these games that we are talking about now are much better than the original ones. In the case of new versions like New Flash, we can't quite say that Darker is a new version of Darkness, but it kind of is. Partly,
Really, but not really, because Red Darkness is a urban fantasy game.
but Final Frontier is a new version of Space, and others are Orbital Decay. Well, Orbital Decay didn't improve that much, but yeah, definitely New Flash improved a lot, and it's going to be.
Also
even-
cannot be. I mean, it's another one that worked
there
for
was
Red.
no Gothic. There was no Gothic there in the first editions. But yeah, it's a shame because I think lots of things improved. By the way, we are talking about New Flash. That's still in the works. There's a new, not a new edition, of course, an update. Very soon there will be no AI, almost no AI. In this case, there's some. I've kept the logos. The logos were made using AI, and that was too much. I've kept them. I've kept those as they were. Everything else has changed, and I think it's at least I managed to keep some coherence. Not as much as in the original, because with AI you can do that almost perfectly. But still, we have a couple of different styles mostly. The stock art is all by the same artist, and the commission art is also by the same artist, a different one, all by the same artist, but not the one that did the stock art. So I guess we were able to get a coherence, a consistency visually. There's a cat scratching something. Okay, so
There's
let's
always a cat scratching something. Just ignore it.
go ahead. Okay, so because this is the Red Room's birthday, and if you haven't heard about that yet, there's a sale going on itch.io until the end of the month. So we still have 5 days. It's plenty of time to go there and buy some stuff. 40% over all Ratchet titles, and if you want to buy them all at the same time, there's a price for it. It's 100 and something dollars, and you get all the Ratchet stuff. I think it's a good price for that. Individually, you get 40% discount on a digital file. Most of them are around between $5 and $10, and with a discount, even less, of course. What else? Well, we have a short announcement to make. We'll probably have to. We'll probably know. We'll definitely do a video about that. But since we are here and maybe there's still someone listening to this, we are going to release a magazine, a Red Room magazine, which is already titled. It's called Red Alerts. We'll wait to have the logo until we do the full video about this, the official announcement. It won't take long, I think. So what's Red Alert supposed to be? Partly it will be a Red magazine destined to share some of our stuff. We had thought about doing something like Ratchet Versus, but for the Red games. This won't be it, but it will fulfill the same goal. It will include stuff for Red games, and by stuff I mean stuff. Probably mostly adventures, but other things are possible. So that's what the equivalent to Ratchet Versus would have been if we decided to do it. But this is not just that. So the plan is a little bit more ambitious in this case. It's to have space for other things. So fiction, reviews, content for other games, interviews, articles about stuff that you want to write about, and it's open to submissions from anybody who wants to submit content. We will not be paying for content, at least not in general. Maybe I will pay for something if I decide to. But in general, let's say the purpose is not to pay for content. On the other hand, we'll give you free advertising space in the magazine. Well, I'm not going to charge for advertising, at least not for now. If it starts selling like crazy, which won't, I might think about that. But for now, the advertising space is free. So if you want to submit something, I will definitely give you a full page, because that's silly. If I'm giving it away, why just give away a quarter page or a half page? You'll take a full page. Even if you are not going to write something, maybe I can arrange. It depends if I like you. If I
Don't like anybody.
if I like you, I'll include as a page, promo page for your whatever game, scenario, even a YouTube channel. Why not? So this is the announcement. I guess we should say something about that today, because it's the anniversary, and obviously.
I was going to ask if you want to talk about future plans, but I don't think you want to talk about future plans, with the exception of this one.
Yeah, not right now.
Yes, so this is the answer the question that
Most things are on hold now for different reasons, and the fact that red alerts is also going to be a thing, it necessarily will make things slower. Well, because I can do everything at once, and I'm working less than before. But there are still some things in the pipeline. Of course, Wretched Country is being adapted into something called. Damn it.
I don't remember what was the name that we decided. It has bullets in the title, right?
Blood and Dust, which might remind you of A Fistful of Blood and Dust, which was Olivar's scenario for Wretched Country. I might include it. I don't know. I haven't been able to get in touch with him yet. But if he wants to have a fistful of blood and dust in Blood and Dust, I think it would make sense to have the scenario there, because it's actually it was. I didn't choose that title, though I liked it. It wasn't not my suggestion; it was someone else's on Discord. But when I saw that one, I said, "Well, this reminds me of A Fistful of Blood and Dust," and I like the original title.
Yeah, so it makes sense to have the adventure there because of the name.
Yeah, the name, even though it wasn't on purpose. I can't remember who suggested Blood and Dust. Roger, maybe Jed, I don't know, Mark, one of them on our Discord. But when I saw it, I said, "Well, okay, it must be this one." I like the other ones as well, but it must be this one, because it makes sense. Okay, so I think we've bored people enough. This is almost we're going on almost 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
No one's watching anymore.
So now it's when we say the problematic stuff.
Which problematic stuff?
No, I'm joking. I think I already did.
I'm sure we have.
I'm making sure if people are paying attention.
I'm
now
sure
I'm going to disappoint them.
We must have said problematic stuff. Well, okay, so let's say some problematic stuff. I think I should start considering the option of re-releasing Man with no AI art. I'll have to talk about that with Dick Palm. I don't think he'll have a problem.
I don't care. Yeah.
As long as I don't ask him to pay for it, I don't think he would have a problem. But yeah, having to pay for it would be a problem, because well, it's not cheap, and I don't think it would sell that much.
Well, you can put Man with no art. You can do some drawings yourself.
Yeah.
Little sticky man.
Stick man with dicks. With stick dicks.
Yes, with big dicks. Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to return soon enough to do a video about red alerts, and probably one more a red overview about
Mhm.
the different game. Until then, have fun and buy some stuff. Remember, there's a Ichio's sale, 40%.
Until the end of the month.
Spend money on our stuff, and bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye bye.